Hey everybody, it's back. It's Timber and Stone with JPT. Things might look a little different than the last series. This would technically be like season 3. I don't know, but this is 1.6 of Timber and Stone. Things graphically look a lot different. The game is also running on a completely sort of rebuilt engine. Basically, they got in there. They said, hey, we want to change a few things so that we can make development a little bit better in the future. And they have done just that. So as you can see, things look a lot different. Let's see. Let's get that depth level down. I'm holding down Alt and scrolling down with my middle mouse wheel. You can also do the same thing by hitting page up and page down, but I don't like taking my hands off the wheel, if you know what I mean. But I like that they have a depth counter now, because you can kind of see the highest you can go is 48, and I really don't actually know how low you can go. 0, as far as I know. It's probably more than that. I'm going to be learning about much of the new tweaks about the game as much as you guys are, so keep that in mind. This apparently is my frame rate, I guess? I don't know. Right mouse click in, gets you to go zoom around. As you can see, we got a brand new wagon, still holds up to 40 mass. I have gone through and renamed my characters. I have remapped my keys. Normally, to switch between your characters, you use the bracket keys, but again, I don't like taking my hand off the mouse wheel. So I remapped those to be Z and X. So we got Francis Moneymaker, Penelope Whisperer, Jennifer Black, Robert Black, they're related, James Gitter, Angela Whisperer, also related to somebody that's called Whisperer. Who's the other one? Penelope. Martin Wood. Adeline Get to the. You know why I call her Get to the? Get to the chopper. Adeline, get to the chopper. She's our wood chopper. So that's one of the things you want to do when you first start out on the game, in my opinion. And we may not see a lot of action in the episode today, because again, I've gotten a lot of new people, a lot of new subscribers to this channel, and I think a lot of the old ones really wanted to see some Timber and Stone. And so we will take a look at kind of what we're doing here. F1, F2, F3, and F4 are how you can get around. Let's see, I gave her wood chopping abilities because, now mind you, she's sluggish, clumsy, and cowardly. So I didn't necessarily want her to be a farmer because she'd be too slow. I didn't really want her to be a carpenter because there might be some problems there. Again, I'm not 100% sure on where the development of certain aspects of the game are. I'm going to move around, again, just hitting my Z key to move to the next one. Francis Moneymaker, why do I... So, like, I always have first names. First names are whatever the game generates, and then I always name them something that I know that they can also do in terms of what else they're doing. So it's not just like Francis Corn or whatever. Francis Moneymaker is named Moneymaker because they're a really good trader. Nice, right? Lazy and an overeater. I had to really work on kind of spreading out the wealth. You can basically switch back and forth really easy by just clicking on them. So like Penelope Whisperer is a horse whisperer, let's just say. So she's a really good herder. Bad vision, sluggish, and weak back. You are now our fisherman because of that. Jennifer Black, she's a blacksmith. That's kind of the only thing she can do. She can kind of fish and, stuff like that. Some of you probably be like, oh, put her as your fisherman. She's a level 4 blacksmith. That is great from the start. Strong back. Sluggish, that's okay. Robert Black, again, named Black because he's also a blacksmith, but he's our stonemason. He loves to overeat, but he is a quick learner, so that'll help. James Gitter, go get that. So he's our forager. Clumsy, about the only thing that he's kind of good at other than wood chopping. So we might go back and forth between that. I could probably call him James Choppa, and I might actually do that now that I think about it. To change somebody's name, you have to be on this very first screen. Hit F1 and then click their name. I don't think it's as obvious as it could be, but now you know. So, oops, Chooper. No, Chooper. Chopper. Okay, so James Chopper apparently is now related to the other Chopper. Angela Whisperer, again, kind of getting around to that. Another good herder. So we got 2 girls that are herders. Martin Wood, he's both good in wood chopping and carpentry, so I thought Wood would be a pretty good name for him. He's also an overeater. We have a lot of overeaters. She is not named Chopper. She is Get to the Moneymaker, Whisperer, Black, Chopper, Whisper, Whisper Wood. So you get the point. You get the point. So resume the game. Tab exits most of the menus. If you want to know how to save the game, you kind of have to let the game play a little bit before it'll automatically save. If you hit the escape menu after it's, it's P for play, they're just standing around. You can kind of see them moving their heads and stuff. Pause it again, hit escape. It's not necessarily long enough for anything to actually happen. So I'm going to have them move there, paused, resume. See, again, it's just, you got to kind of let things play out. There's no way of manually saving, I believe, at this point still. Okay, so we got a lot of new things we can do. We got kind of the old things up here. The queue is empty. You can look at that now. You can actually look at your resources from this drop-down menu. One of the things that I really recommend you guys doing is make sure your seeds are actually decent seeds when you start at the map, which I know really sucks because you get that one location that's just perfect after map selection, which you're not seeing here at this point. My very first map that I had was carrot, corn, cotton, wheat, and I think something else, but maybe not. And the game didn't save. It didn't save, which is all my fault because it was paused, which I love. I love when the game starts up, it's paused now. That's like the thing I always do when I start. So here you can, again, see kind of all the stuff that's going on. Objects, all the stuff you can build, and then storage is kind of what you can do. I almost wish that I could move this down here, mainly for the reason that we have resources now. Let's see. You can track items, and they show up over here. So if you have storage open, you can't see that. Normally, they used to be over here, and I don't know if that is intentional or not. I'm sure one of the developers who watched my episodes will tell me. If you want to get rid of that and you're not on this screen here, you can just right-click it, and it goes away. So I do typically track a number of resources. I will have to figure out which ones those are. One of the other things graphically that I really like is the fact that you can see stuff, really cool ores now. So that's iron ore. Also tells you what level that you need to get most of this stuff, which is really cool. As you can see also, the hills, everything's not just flat. Everything kind of has these angles and stuff like that. Of course, that's a berry bush. I'm holding down Q to look at that. So it actually also even tells you who you're looking at, which is very, very nice. So let's designate some things that we want to get. Design. Let's go ahead and remove trees. You can chop the mature ones or clear cut them flat out, which I think is really cool. The trees look a lot different. There's different varieties, which I appreciate. So we'll chop mature. You can click once, let go, and then drag into the area that you want to cut down. So we'll cut down these trees that are in the red. This won't chop this tree because it's not mature. But if you wanted to remove the trees altogether, just clear cut all of them. I do believe they'll leave stumps, which is really cool. You also want to keep in mind maybe putting your thing right in the middle of the map, which is roughly where we are. It kind of helps because mobs, if they spawn like they did in 1.5, they'll usually spawn on the outside and work their way into the middle. So there's that. So you can also take a look at your people's stats, kind of tell them what they can maintain in their inventory by doing this. So we've got Angela Whisperer. You always want to maintain a hoe. So she'll go and get a hoe. Weapons, armor, stuff like that. I'm sure I am missing. I need to kind of catch up on strategy a little bit, but that is just how you do that. Okay, Francis Moneymaker, you also need a hoe. Penelope Whisperer, you will always need to maintain and hold. Basically, it just means hold on to. Don't do a job, put it away, then go get it again and put it away. They always just have this in their inventory. You can also set their encumbrance, which is really fun. Jennifer Black is a blacksmith, so you always want them to have a hammer. Robert Black is... Do we accidentally have two stonemasons? No, that's your stonemason, and the other one's a blacksmith. That's right. Okay. Overthinking. It's fine. Let's see. Also have a hammer. James, you... Do they need... have a knife. Take a knife with you, because you'll be able to stab sheep and chickens and pigs and stuff like that. or boars, I guess they're also called. What a boar. I think you're our carpenter. Yeah, so you'll need a hammer. You will need to maintain an axe. And I think we made the trip all the way around. Yeah. So there you go. Some of the stuff you want to do right away is workshops. You want a timbering bench. Won't be able to get that. I can't move my mouse down, but as you can see over there in the bottom right, it kind of tells you like you need the 2 stuff and then the 6 wood. But basically it processes raw wood into timber, which is brand new as far as I know. So not only do you have raw wood, you will then also have timber, which means you'll need to basically have storage of wood timber pile or raw wood stack. So you're going to actually have both of them. So this is basically the raw wood stack, and this is the timber pile. So there's a little bit more depth going on here. You will probably want to keep the raw wood stack and the timber pile next to the timbering bench. So there's that. Actually, I don't know what tools we have, so let's actually figure that out. So we don't have a knife right away. We do have 2 stone hammers. We have a stone pick and a stone axe. I don't believe we have a miner, do we? That's not good. Carpenter. Yeah, we don't. So let's find out who is actually a decent miner. I did not think about that. Don't want the forager to be that. We need the farmers right away. He is a carpenter, which we'll need right away. Woodchopper, fisherman, blacksmith, stonemason. So let's see. You're our forager. I'm struggling here. Let's rename Robert Black Robert Stone, because you're actually going to get changed into the miner for now. Didn't think about that. Because we will want to dig mine. And let me teach you a few tips and tricks on selecting things to mine. Okay, so just like the designation for the wood, if you click and let go and then drag, you can do that. Let's see. I'm just trying to think here. It's been a minute. So I'm just zooming in. Okay, so let's say, so when you click that area, but if you wanted to say, like, oh, I didn't mean to actually do that. If you hold down Alt and Shift, it turns yellow, and then you click, and then it gets rid of that designation. I was actually trying to figure out how I can go up, and that is actually the arrow key, which, you know, your normal arrow keys, not your WSAD keys. So if you have something that, like a really, like for instance, this here, this is a perfect example of that. So like, see, you got one level here, and then you want it to actually go up and over. So it goes from 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 to 1 by 1 by 2, the last number being your actual height. And I'm sure you'll be able to change that mapping after a while. I know one of the developers mentioned wanting to change all the key bindings for the future. So we'll designate these rocks to get, you know, taken care of, because you really will need rocks right away. We'll leave those this ore here, this iron ore, alone, because I don't actually think we have, 1, the tools, and 2, the actual skill level to take care of that. But we'll flatten this area out here, which should help. We'll actually go ahead and take care of that as well. We do want to kind of a couple of nice flat areas near our actual main base to take care of stuff. But yeah, the slopes is something to get used to. A lot of people say, like, oh, like these guys look really weird with like this sort of HD-ish graphics. I think they look okay. They just need a little bit additional color, I think. I'm not too worried about that. So we're going to unpause the game, and that's when everybody, because they all need tools, they're just going to go brah and do that. So P, I keep hitting spacebar. All right, so here we go. So like, how do you expect me to fish when I ain't got a fishing pole? No problem. Adeline's like, okay, I got my, my axe. We're ready to go. She's gonna go over here. If you want to kind of figure out where they're going, they'll show you by kind of doing that. I think they will basically talk to you a lot more than they used to. Farms. We want to go ahead and get those farms going. And you can select what you want to do right from the start. So we actually have the ability to do 4 different farms. I don't remember what the most efficient farm is, but I'm going to essentially just go ahead and plant a 3 by 3 by 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I'm going to just do that. If that's not right, let me know, because it's been a minute. It's been many minutes. It's been over 5 months since I've played this game. I kind of just needed to take a break. We wore the game out, and the game wore us out, and that's okay. That's okay. Construction. Ooh, see here this is where you can build terrain. You can build grass with a slope instead, or just, there's just so much stuff you can do now, which is crazy. And kind of gives you those little icons too. So stone, we're going to need a lot of stone. Timber and stone. We're going to need a lot of timber and stone, which I think is really cool because it used to be just wood, whereas now you have to process it into timber. So now you can actually do timber and stone. Good job, developers. I see what you did there. So we got farms. So now these two should go right into action. So space is actually to rotate things that you're building. And as you can see, this dude over here is going into work. Robert Stone, taking out that stone. And you'll actually be able to see his resources. So this is what he has in his inventory. He's already collected dirt. He also has a stone hammer, which is strange. You know why? Because originally we said maintain in your inventory the hammer. No, get rid of that. Next time you are back at that storage thing, pick up a pick, or keep your pick that you got, and we'll go from there. All right, James Chopper, we need to tell him, hey, go get some stuff. So we can actually just set him loose. There's a way of doing that. Okay. We could tell him to wait in hall while idle, which we don't have a hall right now, but it's always best just to go ahead and click that. We can say, hey, gather berries, hunt boar, hunt sheep, harvest wild wheat, which is really cool. That's brand new. Hunt chicken, and loot the dead, which basically loot the dead, I do believe, is loot your own dead villagers. You could also have him kind of down here and say, hey, tell me when you collect resources, or you're actually crafting resources. Sleeping is another really big thing. You can actually do scheduled sleep, which is a lot tighter, I think, than it used to be. I think there was maybe a few more options in the past, but we'll just have them sleep anonymously based on fatigue. And you can actually tell them, like, flat out when to sleep and stuff like that. We'll take a look at everybody else. I think everybody else is good. We'll go ahead and just have them wait in the hall. I'm not 100% on what train under level 3 means. I do tell them to tell me when they break their own tools, and then go ahead and just show me the notification bubbles, because that's brand new, and I think it's fun. We can also tell the woodchopper to say, hey, chop the nearest trees. We're not going to do that. We're going to be specific, because if you keep that on, sometimes they just like lay waste to the trees that you don't want to cut, although some people don't care about that. Yes, tell me about tool breakage, wait and haul. Wait and haul, again, not sure what this is. It seems to be associated with the actual crafting responsibilities. Okay, so we're back around. So basically, we're going to send James off to collect berries at the moment, because he doesn't have a knife to stab anything with. But we could... I think a workbench is what we're looking for, but of course we still need raw wood for that to happen. So one of the resources we'll keep track of not only will be raw wood, but also timber. But we'll just track the stone there. Processed materials, timber being one of them. We'll track that. You can also do strong timber, apparently. That's cool. We do have twine, so we could technically build a fishing pole, but not quite yet. We'll do that as soon as we are able. So What I may do, let's see, where's our fishermen? We may send them off to be something else. We might have them be a miner, although do we have the mining resources for that? I don't know. No, we just have a hammer. So we don't actually have the tools for that. We'll make you a forager. You're a pretty decent forager, so we'll actually send you off and have you maintain nothing but gather those berries. Help us out and gather the wild wheat, which I think is still a really cool thing. And I don't think this is wild grass. I don't know what wild wheat looks like necessarily. I know there's also sand on these maps. Let's go ahead and come up a little bit. No, wait, was that wheat? No, it's not. So again, takes a little bit of use. My visceral knee-jerk reaction was, I hate this when I first saw the reveal, but I like it now. I think it looks cool. So we'll go ahead and pause things. These two are just kind of like, eh. Ooh, requiring wild grass requires a knife. That is good to know. But they'll get the berries. Get them berries. Right here. So, yeah, that is kind of just timber and stone beginnings in a nutshell. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. So, encumbrance on the miners might set that to be a certain level. The people with the berries, you might set their encumbrance because the food doesn't necessarily weigh that much. Like it weighs 0.25. So I kind of like to keep mine down so they don't go out as far as usual. I don't know if 8 is a good number, but that's the number I'm going to set it to. Farmers, they, I guess seeds weigh a certain amount as well. It's just what it is. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll have them come down to 8 as well. Same thing with the person cutting down your wood. I like to keep it kind of down in the 6 to 8 region because logs weigh a certain amount, and that way they're not getting, because the more stuff they carry, the slower they get when they walk. And if your chopper happens to be far away, you don't necessarily want them to have to go their way around to get there. Yeah, so he's already collecting all this stone. So again, materials weigh a certain amount. Dirt does as well. I'm sure they all add up to be a certain something. I will put that at 8, and as soon as they figure out, oh, I've got too many things, and they're going to turn around and come back here. So let's kind of show you what that looks like. So now he's coming back. We'll pull up this here, and you'll see as soon as he gets here, he'll unload this stuff, except for that hammer. Or no, he'll get rid of the hammer and get rid of the stone, which takes a second, I guess. That's totally fine. So now, real quick, we should be able to do, a timbering bench as soon as we get the raw wood. Same thing with the workbench and artesian workbench. Again, I'll have to kind of look into some of this stuff because there's a stone forge now. Or no, there's always been a stone forge. That's right. It does require, it looks like dirt. The icons I'll have to get used to. Stone anvil requires twine, it looks like. Something like that. Or is that cloth? So it's just something getting used to. Feeding trough, you can kind of look at stuff. The little feet icons kind of tell you how that can be accessed. So there is that. Makes sense, everyone? I'm back. Timber and Stone is back. 1.6 is here. timberandstonegame.com. Be gentle. These guys are working really hard. It's been a few months, been more than a few months for some people to get back into the game. It's essentially a 3-man team. One of them doing it, I believe, full-time. That may have changed. I've been kind of keeping up with the forums just as of late. And it's well worth your looking at. If you're into sort of the strategy management and building, this game is probably the right game for you. So just check it out and stay tuned. More videos of this to come. And appreciate any comments you have. Be gentle. Be helpful. Let me learn a little bit on my own. Don't necessarily tell me how to play the game, but if you have some tips and tricks, I would certainly appreciate it. So until next time, this is JPT. Go play your games, and I'll be seeing ya.